Hello and welcome to Coffee Yoga Wine, the home of Yoga with Baukye. Today we are going to explore Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Honestly, this journey, reading this text, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's been an incredible process. You go so far beyond the mat, and it shifts your mindset completely about yoga and what yoga actually is. So in this workshop, we're going to explore the heart of yoga through the lens of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. This is one of the most foundational texts in all of yoga philosophy. The sutras are a collection of 196 short teachings, almost like threads. They thread yoga together, and those threads help guide us inward. So the sutras help us understand the mind, why we experience stress or distraction, and how we can perhaps cultivate clarity and presence in our everyday lives. So yoga isn't something we wait until we master. It's something we begin in this very moment. Right now, together, we're gonna start. We start with breath, with willingness to pay attention. We just start. So one of the key ideas behind the sutras is that everything we experience comes from Prakriti. Now, I might be pronouncing some of these words incorrectly. I apologize if I am new to learning the text and the language, so bear with me. So Prakriti and the natural is the natural world. It's nature in essence. The body, the senses, the thoughts, the habits, and the energies that move through us. And within Prakriti, there are three qualities called the Gunas. And when learning about the Gunas, it kind of opened my eyes to even more, if you will. So the Gunas are the Tamas, heaviness or inertia, Rajas, movement or activation, and Sattva, which is clarity and harmony. Now we'll dive into this later into the workshop. These natural states aren't good and they aren't bad. They're simply describe the shifting, kind of the inner landscape, if you will, that we're constantly navigating through life. Part of our practice as yogis is learning to recognize these states with some compassion and always with curiosity. Today, though, we're going to look at how Patanjali organized this understanding into a powerful roadmap known as the 8 limbs of yoga. So that is something we learn as we start our adventure into becoming a yoga teacher, is the 8 limbs. That is our foundation. These 8 limbs are a step-by-step guide for living with more presence, steadiness, and clarity. So with this workshop, my hope is that you will leave with a sense, not need to know everything. So don't feel that you need to know or even understand what we're going to cover today. But my hope is to leave you with the feeling that you can begin, and you can begin where you are right now. So just begin your practice, begin with one breath, begin with one moment of awareness. So with that in mind, let's get started. Let's start our journey into the wisdom of Patanjali and the Yoga Sutras. what are the sutras? The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali are a foundational text of classical yoga philosophy, offering a systematic guide to mastering the mind and achieving spiritual liberation. Composed by the sage Patanjali sometime between the 2nd and 5th centuries, they are a guide of 196 threads, sutras, on how to live a more meaningful and purposeful life. Think of it as a practical manual for finding calm in the chaos of our modern, busy lives. Now let's talk about the foundation, or the 8 limbs. So the sutras are built on a framework called the 8 limbs of yoga. These limbs are part of our initial yoga teacher training and are the foundations that we kind of live by, if you will. The 8 limbs are not a ladder that you climb, but act more like a wheel with 8 spokes. So each one supports the other to create a balanced and a whole life. So taking a look at those spokes or those limbs, we start with the yamas, which is our ethics and integrity. This is how we treat others and around us and around the world. So yamas is non-harming. The niyamas are our personal habits and self-discipline. This is how we treat ourselves. The asana, which is the most popular part of yoga, are the physical postures. The yoga we typically think of, preparing the body to be still. Next up is pranayama, which is our breath control, learning how to use the breath to manage our energy and our mind. Then we have the inner limbs. So pratyahara, which is turning your senses inward, withdrawing from external distractions to find quiet. Dharana, focused concentration, training the mind to focus on a single point, like a candle, a flame, or a mantra. Dhyana, effortless meditation, the state of being where concentration becomes easy and uninterrupted. Samadhi, oneness and pure awareness, a state of bliss or enlightenment where the self and the universe connect. Here's just another way of looking at the 8 limbs of yoga. So we have our moral principles, our personal observations, our postures, our breathing, the abstraction of the senses, concentration, meditation, and in the end, a state of unity. Moving into learning about the gunas. So Patanjali explains the gunas as 3 qualities of nature, Prakriti, that influence mood, behavior, and energy present in everything, including our habits and rituals. So the gunas explain how the mind behaves. The whole Yoga Sutras are about understanding the mind and finding clarity. To understand the mind, Patanjali explains that all of nature, including our thoughts, emotions, habits, and reactions, is made of 3 qualities: tamas, heaviness, inertia, resistance; rajas, activity, restlessness, overstimulation; and sattva, clarity, harmony, and balance. These aren't moral categories, they're energetic states that influence how we feel and how we show up. Patanjali introduces the 3 gunas because they explain why our minds fluctuate. So these qualities, tamas, rajas, and sattva, shape our thoughts, moods, energy, and choices. So when the mind is tamastic, we feel heavy, stuck, foggy. When it's rajastic, we feel busy, scattered, or even overstimulated. When it's sattvic, we feel clear, steady, and peaceful. The goal in yoga isn't to eliminate the gunas. It's to understand how they move through us so we can shift towards clarity. Yoga practices, breath, postures, concentration, meditations, help transform tamas into rajas and rajas into sattva so the mind becomes steady. I thought it would be fun to compare the coffee yoga wine balance with the gunas. Now, this is completely metaphorically, 100% metaphorically. This is just to give you a different kind of understanding on the gunas. So, coffee can be seen as rajas, so activity, energy, stimulation. So, coffee is movement, initiation, waking up, fire, planning, getting things done. So, it's not bad. It's just like coffee does, it gives us energy. Yoga is very much sattva. So, yoga is sattva, clarity, balance, lightness. Yoga is the harmonizer. It transforms tamas and rajas into clarity. Yoga regulates the nervous system and helps you land in sattva. Now, wine, again, extremely metaphorically here, can be seen as tamas, grounding, softening, heaviness, kind of that lethargic feeling. Again, not to be taken literally. So, wine slows the system down, or when we're having a glass of wine, or when we're slowing down, becoming lethargic, it can bring this feeling of heaviness, this feeling of relaxation, or even inertia, depending on the person. It can also be used ritually to mindfully soften the edges. Again, just a completely different way to look at the gunas um, metaphorically. Now that we've learned about the 8 limbs of yoga and we dove a little bit into Prakriti, nature, or the gunas, we can start exploring the sutras. So, for this workshop, I've chosen Yoga Sutra 1, Book 1.1. I feel that this sutra starts the journey. This sutra is the entrance, the beginning. So this sutra is Atha Yogānuśāsanam. Atha meaning now, yoga meaning yoga, Anusasanam is exposition or instruction. Again, apologies on the pronunciation if I have pronounced that incorrectly. Learning, learning Sanskrit is not exactly an easy journey, but a beautiful one. This sutra can be translated to now the exposition of yoga is being made. This is where it all starts. This sutra is an invitation to start exactly where you are. This is your affirmation to become a yogi, to practice regularly, to study yoga, to go beyond the words and beyond the mat. We explored how Prakriti, nature, and the Gunas shape our inner world and how the 8 limbs help us move from heaviness and overstimulation towards clarity. Our journey is ongoing as we look towards enlightenment or samadhi. Again, coffee, yoga, and wine, metaphorically, each kind of reflect these energies in our modern and busy lives. Patanjali opens up our world into yoga with Yoga Sutra 1.1. Now the practice of yoga begins. And he reminds us that you don't have to be perfect to practice. You just have to begin. Now the practice of yoga begins. So as we wrap up the workshop, a lot of information has come your way. Like I said in the beginning of this workshop, it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's not meant to be understood right away. It's a journey. It's a journey through the Yoga Sutras, through life. I'd like to bring us back to the very first words that Patanjali offers us in that Sutra 1.1, Atha Yogānuśāsanam. Now the exposition of yoga is being made. Now the practice of yoga begins. So throughout the workshop, we learned about the Gunas, Prakriti, the 8 limbs, and all of that information can make it feel like yoga is complex or something that is earned, but that is not the case at all. Patanjali starts with this sutra for a reason. We begin exactly where we are. I can honestly say 26 years into this journey, you're always learning. You're always curious. You're always trying to soak up more and more and more. You're like a sponge. And this book opened my eyes. It was humbling, is humbling. Honestly, there's 3 books in here. There's a lot. There's 196 sutras. And this is just the start. But I think it wraps up what the yoga journey is. It's continuous. It's never ending. We're always striving to learn to be better humans. So our thoughts, our habits, our energy levels, the shifting states of Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva, it's all part of the natural world of Prakriti. And we're not meant to escape it. We're meant to notice it, be aware, be curious. The tools Patanjali gives us, the 8 limbs, it all helps us navigate these states with awareness and compassion. Not perfectly, not all at once, one breath, one moment, and one step at a time. So wherever you are, whatever you're feeling in this moment, the invitation is always the same. Begin now. Start right now, in this moment, this day. That's the heart of yoga. It's not performing, achieving, but simply beginning again and again and giving yourself the space to do so. Be gentle with yourself along the way. So Atha Yogānuśāsanam. Now your practice of yoga begins. So I want to thank you for being here, for beginning, for stepping into your own path of awareness and clarity, for hitting play, for listening, for learning, for being curious. Thank you for sharing your space today. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I wish you a most wonderful rest of your day. I hope that some bits will stick with you. Watch this video over and over. Grab yourself a copy of the books. Read, learn, be curious, and always be open. Thank you again. And namaste.